You are now listening to an episode of What Is Your Story by Noisy Podcast. Enjoy.
My name is Brilla and this is my story. Brilla is a content creator and an event host, but before we go into all of that, let's start from where it all began. So I attend Lagos State University, final year student. Everything started from 100 level anyways, when I decided to go and eat randomly, and I met these two girls sitting down right in front of me, and then it was a question of, oh, how do you like your food? And we're just basically, that random conversation you have with strangers just because both of you are smiling at each other. That was what it was. At the end of the whole eating and conversation, one of them just asked, would you like to join Lasso Radio? And I love to talk. I have a second page called Brilla Wants to Talk, so I love to speak. And I told her, yes, I would like to join Lasso Radio. So I went into Lasso Radio, and fortunately for me, the producer really liked me. And then everybody was so surprised. They're like, the producer is usually not this nice. I think she likes it. So it really put me in a very good spot where I was so comfortable there. I was always looking forward to it. Radio used to be every Tuesday, and I would go so happy that, okay, yes, I used to feel very, 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 first of all, I used to feel very seen. And then it gave me like a platform to really express myself. So starting from radio gave me a form of confidence too, to be honest. 100 level student and you are speaking on radio. I used to have like mass communication students ask me, how did you enter radio? I'll be like, I just randomly went to eat though. So from doing radio, at some point I just said, you know what, I want to start event hosting too. So it's not just radio, but now that I can see that I can talk and people can listen to me, people are interested in listening to me, I hold good conversations, so why not go into event hosting? So I made that decision, and again randomly I was working in Eco Market, and then somebody just said our host, and it was funny to me because let's say I made that decision in January, as of like February somebody was already calling me our host. But then to be fair, I've already had some conversations with certain people about it, like, I think this is something I would like to get into, but I didn't expect it to happen that soon. So and then when the person said our host, I was a bit surprised, but then I think by that night somebody else texted me and said, I put your name down to host the theater arts dinner with me. And I was like, wow, okay, I think this is getting serious. And then I said, okay, all right, how are we going to do it? I was a bit scared, but at the same time I was like, no, there's something in me that has been saying you're made for more. Like, you just know it, that there is more to this. I can talk, there's more to this, I'm a very friendly person and all of those things. And the beautiful thing about putting yourself out there is the more you put yourself out there, more people are going to see you doing the things that you know how to do. So for me it was, okay, let me just go for this event and see what happens. And then mind you, there was no promise of any huge money, by the way. It was just come with me, let's host this thing together, let me just go. I don't have anything to lose, besides I have everything to gain by going here. So I went for the event, and then other people saw me, and then people were not like, oh wow. For some people that knew that this was my first time, I think he already told some other people that I'm just trying to put this girl on and stuff like that. So they were like, oh, so a lot of people were coming to meet me to encourage me, you did well. And I was so surprised. This is my first time doing this. I was so excited. From hosting there, other faculties started calling me, and then I was like, oh wow, I think there's something here. Then I now saw that I could even gain little change in school from it. Mind you, as of that time, I did not know that, okay, 500k is a big money or small money, or I did not know whatever money, like the monetary value was. I just felt like, let me just do this. I'm just entering school. Small change would really, really count. And mind you, I felt like it was also a learning process. That's another thing. I always took all of those opportunities as, this is school, and this is where I can make those mistakes, and nobody's probably going to judge me as much as the outside world. And even if I was in 100 level, there's one thing that I've always carried. I don't want to finish school and now start from scratch and start asking myself, what am I going to do in my life? So I just felt like, okay, this is going somewhere. So from doing event hosting in school, I started doing a lot of pageantries, because if you know universities, they don't joke with Mr. and Mrs. this. Then at some point I was like, I don't want to just do Lasso again. I want to somehow break into the actual world, because, and I know this might sound funny, because at 100 level, why you're already thinking this far, but for me, I'm like, no, I want to, So I decided to go into Vox Pop. So Vox Pop is basically, when you see people on the road asking you different questions, and this is me explaining Vox Pop in the smallest way. So that is it. Those, what's your name? All those random questions you see people doing on the street. So that's basically what it is. So I said, let me start doing Vox Pop. But this time, I don't just want to be walking around the school street. I want to be going for actual events. So then I started pitching to brands outside school. Started pitching to like events outside school. So it's like texting them, oh, can I come and do this? So for some people, they did not have it in their plan for maybe when they were doing their event planning and all that they would have a content like that. But then for me, I was like, let me create it for you. Like, this is something I can do. I feel like this will add life. So I was sending out different emails and stuff like that. So for some of them, it worked. I mean, I remember one of the major ones I did. It was at Freedom Park. There was this event. I can't really remember the name. I'm so sorry. But it was this event at Freedom Park. And, it brought me out because this time they were brands. I mean, they were soda brands that had nothing to do with my school were present there. And then this time, everything just looked so polished and it was just so good. I was like, okay, wow, I can come out of LASU and do stuff like this and people will recognize me. And I think one of the sweetest part of that particular gig was a particular very big media page posted it. Very, very big media page posted. And I was so happy because people were randomly sending me my video. Imagine waking up and people are sending you a video that see you on. So I was like, oh wow. One step was opening the door to another. So the major thing for me was always just do it. Just do it. You don't know where it's going to. You don't know who is going to see you. That you don't know who is going to see is one. Even up till now, there are still gigs that I'm open to, collaborations that I'm open to, not even on the basis of what they are going to pay me. But then I just tell myself, I don't know who is going to see me. And then for that reason, I'm going to go out and then I'm going to speak. I'm going to talk. Expressiveness has been my core. I mean, if I'm even going to go to little inside gist, I'll tell you that, I mean, as a secondary school, I was head girl. So I knew that I always like to come out and talk. Like, I always like to express myself. So I've always told myself, anything I'm doing in this life, you can't take that voice away from me. I know that this voice is going to open doors for me. And that is just the lane I've been working in. That is the belief I've been working in. So yeah, so from doing Vox Pop really brought me out, to be honest, because there were gigs that I did that, meeting other brands, meeting bigger brands, meeting bigger people, and then it helped me build my confidence. University life this is a community, but when you're going into the world outside, nobody really knows you. Nobody's going to treat you as you're a student that is just learning. And then if you want to increase your price, you must increase your value. And I think this is where people need to come out of, I'm just a natural. Yes, it's good to be a natural at whatever thing you do, but there should be more than that. If you're in the content creation space, and this is me transitioning now from just doing Vox Pop into doing proper content for brands, one would agree with me that now everybody's saying content creation is overly saturated. And in as much as I want to say, okay, yes, you can still be your unique self, we cannot turn a blind eye to that fact. The knowledge that you it's going to take more than just your raw talent or more than just you being a natural at anything for you to succeed. It has to become a part of us. And that is what I started telling myself, that okay, you know what, I'm not just going to say, I'm going to go for this show because I know how to talk, but now I'm going to sit down in my house, go and get information about those people I'm going to interview, find out how my intro is going to be, find out how my outro is going, like those little steps, practice it, show it to people around me. Personally, currently on my page, almost every post that goes out goes through my friend. I call him my manager anyways, my best friend, goes through my manager, and then most I tell him my issues, that I feel like if this is not up to standard, tell me. So now I know that it is more than just saying, I'm good at this thing, they know. Now it is now be intentional. And I think transitioning from a place of just raw talent to intentionality is another thing that I don't joke with. And in all of these things, I would say having the right people around.
Are you enjoying the episode so far? If you love stories that make you feel at home, check out our anthology, A Man and a Woman and Other Stories. You can get a copy of this book through the link in our description box below or at Roving Heights Bookstore. Now let's get back to the episode.
I cannot say I had one big connection. my parents are, yes, they've tried their best. They will do the regular training of their children and all of those things, but I cannot say, oh, my father knew one media person or in fact they were even surprised when I said sending them pictures of me at Lasso Radio. They were like, but it's international relations, you went to school to study that. So and then even times where I'll now start going for events, but if there's one thing, they were really supportive. Even up to now, my mother will still text and say, let me see what you want to that event, let me see how you packaging it. Wherever you are, whatever you have, that is what you're going to use. If there's one thing I know, wherever place you're supposed to get to in this life, everything you need to get there is already inside of you. And I know that there's a lot of emphasis on finances. Yes, it is true, but I did not start my content creation with maybe iPhone 30. Instead with probably iPhone 6. It was just a thing of, let me just be packaging it and then also asking for help. So in as much as I probably did not know a very big person, I knew how to ask for help. I will tell you, please, as my friend, can you follow me here and make videos of me? Can I use your phone? Those little things. See, if you want to really thrive, see that thing called shame, you have to put it aside. You have to really, yes, you have to know, I think, know your self-worth and have your boundaries and know how to ask people to rate your work. People that you know that genuinely care about you and love you, that even when they tell you that this is bad or this is good, you will take it as this person is saying it from a place of love. That is another thing that really helps. Constantly trying to be better. And one thing I always told myself is, if I go for one gig, the next one has to be better than the previous one. So that also helped me in, navigating my way. And there are still times where life will still be difficult. And then I had to start upscaling. So I knew that, okay, yes, I can do radio, I can do events. But later on too, I started looking for other things. I started looking for other opportunities that will not even necessarily show my face. I knew that I could edit videos because most of my work, I had to edit them by myself. When I go out to those events and do the Vox Pop, I had to edit them by myself. So I knew that, okay, apart from just doing Vox Pop, I can also edit for people. Yes, there is a passion, there is purpose, but then you must understand time and season. And that is one thing that I had to hold on to, that I love to do my Vox Pop, I love to do my event hosting, but then sometimes you need to have other skills to fund the things that you believe would take you to that light or that place that you want people to know that, okay, yes, so this is this person. So I had to go into video editing, where I will not even edit for brands without my face showing or without it being my regular content, just to make little cash. So there was also that point. In all of these things that have happened to me, God was still there. It would be ungrateful of me to talk about my story and not talk about, if you know what it means to sit down and have to fast and have to pray and have to even say, God, do you think I should go for this event? Is this one for me? Is this one not for me? Then you will now know that God is real and God actually exists in people's story. And in my own story, God was with me through everything. My going to Lagos State University, I did not pick it for myself. Like God actually said, go to this school. And I think that's why whenever I look back at all the things that have happened, I know that they did not happen by mistake. That person did not randomly meet me in while I was eating by mistake. That person did not put me on that hosting gig without having any solid reason to by mistake. Like, nothing happened by mistake. Everything just followed God's will. This is me also encouraging everyone listening right now that God is real, and feel free to tell him your plans. Feel free to believe that he can fund those plans, and feel free to believe that everything you need to get to where you want to get to, he has already put it in you. So while this is the sweet part of the story, let's now go to some of the parts that those hard pills. I'm going to start by giving a little story, something that happened to me. There was this particular gig that I had, and on stage, like I said, I host events. So on stage, the person I was hosting with told me that he wanted somebody else to host with him. And this is so funny because I know this person, we're not close, but then I know this person. And him saying that to me, funny how I did not even digest that information at this spot. If you know anything about hosting, you know that once you hold that mic, anything that happens, you're most likely very sensitive to it, and information can just destabilize you there on stage. And him saying that to me, I'm happy that I did not even digest it at that point. It was when I got home. But then I thought about it, that how can you say this to me, even if you probably had planned with somebody else that you're going to host with the person or whatnot, but you saying this to me was very insensitive. It made me question, oh wow, so maybe I'm not good enough, or why did he even have to say this? A lot of questions went down my mind, and this is where I'm going to. Whatever thing you're doing, you need to know that people are still variable. Make sure that your light is shining so bright that even if they want to say they cannot see it, you know that you can see it. If you're in a dark room and if you're in a bright room, if somebody tells you that this room is dark when it is bright, that's whatever thing they've said to you will not matter, because you need to know yourself. You need to attain a level of self-awareness. And it's so funny that in that same gig that he told me, oh, I wanted somebody else to host, people came to me. I was like, Brilla, you did so well. In fact, the organizers called me after that event, and then they were just, asking me, oh, how did I feel about it? They were asking me different questions about it. And I was like, in this same gig, are you serious? Then that was how one of them now gave me the backstory. Luckily for me, that person is like my friend. So she now told me that, do I know that when it was time for, them to have their round table about who will host, he already said this is who he wanted, but then the whole team was saying, no, we want her to host. And it just made me realize that. So I was probably in my house sleeping that day, and people were literally debating about who is going to host this. And I was not there, but God was present at that round table saying, this is the person that will host. And the most exciting thing is that event had people from like the House of Assembly, the Senate. So it was a very huge event and huge platform for me. This is me telling whoever is listening right now that trust yourself, bet on yourself, know that if you can, then you can. And people are going to say a lot of things, but you need to actively work on yourself to make sure that you can have that confidence, so that when people say things to you, this is not who you are. Now, to the other part of me, I know I've introduced myself as an event host and radio OAP, but then I'm so much into fashion. And I tell people, fashion is like my blood. The fact that no matter anything I do in this life, I'm going to carry fashion. Like, you can, once you see me, you know that there's something about her style. And I've also gotten gigs that merge both fashion and speaking. I mean, I worked for a particular jersey brand, and I did more than just coming to do my vox pop, but then I also had to wear their jerseys and style it and do all of those things. So the fashion aspect of it too has also gotten me a bit of, there's been a lot of questions to what exactly is your style, why do you dress this way? And I think one of the funniest things I've seen is I posted a picture on Instagram, or a video rather, and I woke up to somebody saying, you are slowly running mad. Hey God. Mind you, this is not, I was not dressed half naked or anything. No. I simply just styled a jeans from inside out. And then, this is probably something the person had never seen before. The person just feels like your own is too much. When it comes to the way I choose to dress, the type of makeup, I just like to play around with colors. So you mostly see me do all of those things. And, that's a statement that somebody can sit down and begin to ponder on that. Like, why? Wait, is my style that bad? But then I just know that if everybody is wearing a particular thing, you probably not see me wearing it. I don't like to follow the trend. I just like to be me. I like to stand out. And even sometimes I'm not even trying to do it. I just find myself just doing it, doing the extraordinary or doing the abnormal thing. Let me put it like that. You need to understand yourself. So, fine. You know that you want to be this person at the end of the day, but then you need to actively understand yourself. Understand that you're probably different from 1,000 people out there or 1 million people out there, and you need to find peace in the fact that you are different, because things will test you. In the midst of all of this fighting through my career, trying to even understand myself, there have been doubts, there have been heartbreak situations. in all of these things, there were points where I lost myself. There were points where I sat down and asked myself, am I even doing the right thing? Am I even who I think I am? Am I a lot of questions? But then self-awareness, reaffirmation is good, but at the same time, understanding where it is even coming from is better. So some people will say, oh yes, every morning I tell myself I am beautiful, but from where? What is the root of you telling yourself that you are beautiful? For me now, going back to the word of God and knowing that, okay, this is how God sees me, this is who I am, so that is my own point. For some other people, it is probably coming from a family where they know that no matter, no shaking, my family is always with me. So find your own solid ground, find what you're going to hold on to, and hold on to it to the very last, because life will test you. There are even times where gigs were not even coming. To be honest, gigs were not coming, and I'm like, say people are not seeing me anymore. I know they rain again. Different social media apps have taught me that consistency is good though, but to an extent, sometimes it's not enough. There are times where you need to put yourself in situations where you have to be that limelight by force, e.g. collaboration. So it's not enough for you to show up on your page every day and say, I'm posting. There are times where my likes, from having maybe 400, 500 likes, start dropping back to 100 likes. That 100 likes, I'll even be begging for it, posting on different apps. There were times where I was doing all those things. So, but then sometimes just one collaboration, it will bring noise again to my page. And this also brings me to the fact that at every point you must package yourself in such a way that when people now finally come to see you or find out or figure you out, you are ready. I think I saw this quote where they are like, where would that opportunity find you? And in as much as there are steps to it, but always packaging yourself, always putting yourself out there and coming out correct, it will save you. And I think that's one thing I'm going to give serious credit to my mother for. There are times where I wanted to just patch and move, and my mother would tell me no, down to your wristwatch. My mother would tell you it matters. If we say the internet, social media, content creation is overly saturated, then you must do everything you can to stand out, even when you have little. I want to let you know that there are barriers, yes. Take it as this is you versus you. Then another barrier I would like to speak about is competition. You want to be that person that you're always saying you're happy for people, but then it gets to a certain point that because you are in the same environment or in the same community, you're not happy to see that maybe it looks like you're not moving and then other people are moving. So now it's not that you're not happy that they are moving, but then it makes you question again that am I even in motion? I've had to reaffirm and tell myself a couple of times again, this is your journey, this is your story. God has written your own separately. Every other person is on their own race. You don't know where they are going to. You don't know where they are coming from at the end of the day. So every time I tell myself that this is my own story, even if somebody is big in their own world, I can be big in my own world too, and the two worlds will not affect each other. It will only even make it better. It will only, and then I feel like you're even blessed if you have people that do similar things that you do around you, and then you guys can create a platform to learn from. If you have a community where people do the same things that you do, then you know that okay, maybe there's something they've hacked that you don't know. Please be humble enough to ask. Be humble enough to tell them, "Abeg, which app are you using? How did you edit this?" And also help them sometimes when they have gigs and you don't. I'm going to round up by talking about some of my friends that we've done certain collaborations together. I have this friend, she's also into like content creation, and I remember us planning let's come together in your house and create multiple content since we know that we're going to have exams. So for her, she had the better background. For me, I think I had connection with the photographer and videographer, and then we came together and we created magic. So if there's one thing I've learned, competition would slow you down, collaboration would lift you up and lift you up well. Collaboration, being open-minded, working on yourself, working on your skill, being a natural is not enough. Making use of every opportunity you find to put yourself out there and being the best at the things you can do and God has given you the gift and grace to do.
We hope that you enjoyed listening to this episode of What Is Your Story by Noisy Podcast. If you would like to be a guest on this show, click on the link in the description box below. Don't forget to share, leave a comment, and like this episode. Also follow us on social media at Noisy Streets. Okay, see you same time next week. Bye.